Good day everyone, I'm Dave Julian Bitilidi 2B. Know your cuts of meat, whether you purchase a whole, half or quarter portion, it is important to know where the meat is located on the animal. The location of the cut helps to identify the best type of cooking for that cut. Butchers refer to this as primals. And now, I will be going to discuss the 8 primal cuts of beef and 4 primal cuts of pork. To start, there are 8 main cuts of beef known as the primal cuts. The first one is chuck, the second one is rib, the third is loin, fourth is round, fifth is flank, sixth is short plate, number 7 is brisket, and number 8 is shank. So the first one is chuck. Chuck comes from the cow's shoulder. It's a very flavorful region that can be cut and prepared in many ways. But it's also typically a firmer cut of beef. Due to its versatility and cheap cost, chuck is probably what you're most familiar with. It's great for any type of cooking. Next is rib. As the name implies, the rib primal cut refers to meat cut from the cow's ribs and backbone. Of the 13 pairs of ribs on a cow, only the last 6 are classified in this section. The rest are grouped with chuck and short plate. Rib cuts are notable for their fatty marbling, tenderness, and distinctive flavor. Rib cuts tend to be a little pricier than most and are often better slow cooked than grilled. Next is loin. Loin is where you'll find your most expensive cuts of beef. The loin is located directly behind the ribs and due to its location is not a heavily used muscle. This makes loin very tender compared to more muscular cuts. The loin primal cut comprises 2 parts worth mentioning, sirloin and short loin. Next is round. The round primal region is an inexpensive lean cut located near the cow's hind legs. It's typically a tough cut of beef. Due to the leanness of this cut, it's important to thoroughly research how to prepare and cook the individual portion cuts of this primal region. Sometimes it calls for high heat cooking like top, bottom, and iron portion cuts, or slow cooking like rump and eye roast. Next is flank. The flank primal cut is located just below the loin. This region has no bones, but is flavorful despite its toughness. In the past, it was typically the less expensive cut one could find in the store. However, as the recent demand for lean meat increased, so did the demand for flank steak, driving its popularity and price up. Next one is short plate, often grouped with the brisket beef region. Short plate cuts are found near the stomach of the cow. Its location in the cow lends to cheap, tough, and fatty cuts of beef. This is also where you will find your other source of marbled short ribs. The most common short plate portion cuts you can expect to find in stores are skirt steak, hanger steak, beef bacon, pastrami, short ribs, and ground beef from this primal cut. Next one is brisket, a barbecue favorite. The brisket cut belongs to a cow's breast. Brisket is known for its fatty, tough texture, but if prepared correctly, low and slow, it can be cooked to melt in your mouth perfection. Just be careful when slow cooking with brisket. There's a slim margin between juicy and dry. That's why you should always tenderize and marinate this cut before slow cooking to soften it up. And the last one is shank. Shank is arguably the toughest, cheapest cut of beef, located in front of the brisket at the cow's forearm. This beef cut is notable for its sneaky dryness. Due to its lack of popularity, shank is not typically found in retail stores. However, if you can't find it, it's a great inexpensive option for beef stock or lean ground beef. Because of its dry nature, it's best cook for a long time in moist heat. Now let's go on to the four primal cuts of pork. The first one is pork leg. Pork leg is very lean and is the source of a diverse selection of butcher shop cuts of meat. When cured and smoked, the pork leg produces ham, and when dry cured and aged, you'll get prosciutto. Some other cuts of meat from the pork leg include ham stick, schnitzel, cutlets, pork hack, shank ham, and rump ham. The second one is pork loin. Pork loin comes from the back of the pig, starting just behind the shoulder and ending at the hip. It is commonly split into three sections, the rib, sirloin, and loin center, but can also be split into only two sections known as the pork loin rib half and pork loin sirloin half. The pork loin yields some of the most tender subprimal cuts of pork that are ideal for dry heat cooking methods. Cuts from the pork loin include center chop, center back bacon, sirloin chop, and rib chop. The third one is pork shoulder. Pork shoulder is considerably fatter than most other primal cuts and is therefore often used to make pork sausage. Some of the subprimal cuts of pork that come from the shoulder include shoulder blade sticks, Boston butt, cottage roll, shoulder picnic, riblets, and jowl. And the last one is pork belly. Pork belly is the fattest of the primal cuts, as it is cut from the underside belly area of the pig. Upon removing the ribs, the retail name for pork belly becomes side pork, which is often rolled and processed to produce pancetta. The pork belly contains the side ribs and breastbone and is used to produce side bacon, spare ribs, and center cut side ribs, which are also known as St. Louis ribs. So those are the 8 primal cuts of beef and 4 primal cuts of pork. Thank you for listening and watching. God bless everyone.